My question is that there are other religions like Buddhism that offer spiritual happiness. So are there different levels of spiritual happiness in this process?
To answer that question, I have to go more deeply into what is actual spiritual happiness. Because our main problem is, as tiny particles of consciousness, tiny I ams, that's the literal translation of Atma, I am. We're so tiny, yet we forget our connection to the Supreme I am, the Supreme Atma. How can we be happy without any connection to the complete whole? How can we be holistic as parts if we have no knowledge and no connection to the complete whole? So, let's say you spent your life banging your head against the wall. You thought that's the goal of life. Nothing else to do but bang your head against the wall repeatedly. If I get you to stop, that I'm doing a good deed, yes? And naturally, you'll feel some relief once the throbbing in your head dies down. However, unless you know what to do with your head once you stop banging against the wall, you might well go right back to banging it again. So, spiritual processes that try to get you to kill all desire, stop all activities of suffering. That's good, but unless you get the higher taste, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, you're not going to give up the lower taste for long. So we give credit to spiritual paths that bring you to the point of understanding material existence is suffering, it's an illusion, material desire will never fulfill you. We give credit to that, but we recognize the solution is only half. You have to have something superior. You mentioned Buddha, for example. He had a very brilliant portfolio, very concentrated. He said, I've come to teach two things and two things only. What is dukkha, suffering, and how to become free from dukkha, suffering. That's it. Now, what happens when you're not suffering? He never talked about. He did his teaching role perfectly. You're a teacher, you know, teachers have a curriculum. They have lesson goals. He executed his mission perfectly. But for the complete package, you have to understand. What am I disconnected from? What should I be connected to? I'm a tiny particle. What is the nature of the complete whole, the ultimate source? Bhakti begins actually from the point of freedom from material existence. Bhakti Yoga is about connection to that ultimate source of pleasure. Without that connection, we can't be happy, just like these children without their parents can't be happy. But we are determined in our illusion to exist independently. This is why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mamaivam sho jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana. You living entities are all my fragmental parts, but you're struggling with your mind and senses in the oppressive material atmosphere. We're like flies buzzing around the room, and we see a piece of toast covered with honey. The fly lands on the toast covered with honey, attracted. And then what happens? It's caught. And the more it struggles, the more it pursues happiness, the more entangled it becomes in the honey. It can't become free. So that is our situation. Put another way, the connection between the Atma, the I am, and the dream of material happiness is completely imaginary. But that takes some purification and spiritual progress to understand. And gradually you will understand that by following Krishna's instructions. Just like gradually these children will become mature if they follow their parents' instructions, stay out of trouble, they'll gradually become mature. Without connection to Krishna, how can there be happiness? So what Krishna is offering is beyond mere cessation of material suffering. This is how exalted Bhakti Yoga is.